Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you've guessed by the title of this video, we're going to be installing a facelift dashboard into a Mini Cooper R53. This is my personal car. As you can see, we've got a pile of bits here, which is what we're going to be changing. We've got the dash top, the dashboard skeleton itself, mainframe with the wiring, airbag, dashboard trims, glove box, and the kick panel. Stick around, this is going to be a really good video. Right, first things first, we'll take my dashboard out. If you want to see how this comes out, you can watch my first video. I'll link it in the description of this video. I'm not going to film it because it's just the exact same thing as it was before. There's no major differences apart from the HVAC. So I'll record that, and of course taking the Magic Eye sensor out the top. So, check back in a bit when I've got this dash out. Right, and just like that the dashboard's out. Wiring's off the crash bar. Next step is to remove the crash bar itself. We've got to take the steering column down. But before we do, there's one simple test I want to try out first. I'm going to rehook all the sensors and modules back up to the wiring loom with the airbag. Just sit the wheel back on loosely and plug the new airbag in, which we've got on the floor just there. Then we're going to reconnect the battery. The reason I'm doing that, I don't want to put it back together, find out the airbag's maybe different resistance, and it pops and ruins the dashboard. Then we've got to take it all apart again to put it back to standard. So we'll check back in a minute. Right, everything is hooked up, minus the dashboard. The airbag is hooked up, but I've aimed it outside the car in case it goes off. So now we're ready for the big moment. Ignition on. Good start, airbag light out, and start it. Hey! Lights out. No warning alarms. Fantastic. We can now proceed, hopefully as planned. Right, next we're going to take this kick panel out because there's two multi-plugs back here. I want to take the wiring loom out, offer it up to the new crash bar, but there's also some areas that I want to re-insulate, like down here where the foam's coming off and it's peeling away. So that trim should just now pop back in off. There we go. To get to our wiring loom, which is just down there. I'll try and do this in real time. Oh, careful. Yeah, sorry about that guys, that didn't work. I couldn't get the leverage to lift the clips up with one hand. But the big multi-plug is just down there. And there's the second smaller one up here. Just there. And I will now show it on the wiring itself. Come on, focus please, thank you. There we go. Same as on all of them. You just push this tab in. Like so. It releases and it locks down into its unlocked position, I'll say. And the same on this one. You push that tab down, just there. Push that lever all the way down and you can separate it. But we finally have the wiring out itself. There's a couple of areas that need, as I said, need re-insulating, but it's not a big deal. I took it out with the poppers rather than cut the cable ties off. Main reason I've done that, I want to offer it up to the crash bar just over there, so I can reuse my existing loom now that I know everything works on it. But the second phase now, theoretically, is to pull this frame out. But I think I'll do a clean up first and then we'll get back on it. Right, next step is to remove the passenger side airbag. There's a Torx 30 down here, one just down there, and of course the two at the top. The reason we have to take the airbag out, there is another bolt holding the frame to the heater box, which we can't get to with this in place. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 T30 screws holding the heater box to the main frame. Then of course we have to take the steering column down, and then it's 4 13mm bolts on either side, just back there. Let's get on with it. That's one. Second one just up there. Take them out. Like so. I don't think that one's loose enough yet. There we go. Right, airbag is now reacting nicely. Oh, drop my tool. Last screw just up there. Bear with me a second here, please, guys. And then we can lift the airbag down like that. And there's your R53 passenger side airbag with its housing. But from looking at that, I don't think we have to modify the wiring. So next we can get to that bolt, which is just there, which holds the heater box onto the main frame. That screw drop down there. One on that side. Take it out. Get the tool bolt head. Yep, that heater box is now starting to become loose. I'll just point out, you can't really get these bolts wrong. These are the airbag screws into aluminium, as you'd expect, the threads. These going into plastic, the self-tapping. So you can't actually get them wrong, but okay. Right, I think missed one just there, look. Just up there. Let him drop. That's it. Right, I'll get some more tools. We'll get the column off. Take the main mounting bolts off. And then we'll lift this big frame out. Right, to get the steering column out, there's an Allen key just there, 10mm bolt just there, another one just there, and then one right up just there where my finger is. So we'll take the Allen bolt out first, I think. H6. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do this with one hand. So it's a... Oh. Sorry about that, I pressed the stop record button by accident, but I've got the Allen bolt loose now. That's one bolt out. Your 10mm just there. These are going to be very tight because I don't think these have ever been out. Okay, I'll stop the video here until I get the steering column loose, but you get the idea. Take your 3 remaining bolts out, and then that column will just drop down. Steering column's off. Wasn't that bad. Once we got the last bolt loose, it just started to come down. Right, I've slackened off the 2 bolts on each side of the frame. I ditched the idea of trying to slacken them in real time because they were that tight. And again, they've never been out before, I don't think. And they are quite long. Not a bad thing, but there we go. Bolt number 3. And finally, bolt number 4. Okay, there we go. Now this I will do with one hand, even if it kills me. Oh, let it down carefully. Okay, there is a module here that is part of the crash bar itself. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out how to remount that. By the looks of it, it just... Yep. It just unplugs from down there. There we go. And now the crash bar can be taken out of the vehicle. Very careful not to touch the paint or the glass. There's all the old parts off the dashboard that we've removed earlier. Again, the dashboard was the exact same on the R53 to remove. But there we go. One crash bar, aka support frame. My God. Okay, so we've changed the wiring loom over from the R53 facelift wiring loom, which is this lot here, to my car's standard wiring loom, which is here. It's all clicked in, exactly as the facelift wiring was. I'm expecting to have to extend that airbag wiring, but that we can do on the car when we've got the crash bar back in. There's a bit of re-insulation work to do. I also managed to make a bracket assembly for this module with an M4 nut and bolt. That gets cable tied to there, like that. And there's a plug that goes onto the heater box wiring. So we'll loom that and insulate it. And it's a big old job. And we lost over an hour just on the wiring. But slowly but surely we're getting there. Crash bar's back in. Steering column is refastened. All the wiring to the BSI car modules clip back in. Kick panels are back on. Now we can start refastening the dash. Well, we finally have the dashboard back in. It looks a lot better than the original one did. A lot more appealing, but my God. This top piece was an absolute nightmare to get in. You've got to put the airbag on, then you've got to feed these two wires down, while at the same time trying to guide the top piece into its locator fitting, which is at the front here. But we got it there. Well, we got it in rather. Speedo's in. I fed all the wiring back. I had to take this kick panel off again because I forgot to put the module cover back on, but I'll do that quickly now. Then we can start rebuilding properly. Then we're going to find out if we've solved every single creak on the car. I am insulating the plastic as we go along. But so far so good. It's been a collective 5.5 hours since we started, but slowly but surely we're making progress. We're nearly back together. Just the A-pillars, steering wheel, glove box and lower kick panel, as well as these side trims to go back on. I'm running a stock radio for a few days until I'm happy there's no vibrations or cracking noises. Then we can take it for a test drive. See if all the hard work's been worth it. All done. You know what? This was a really interesting and detailed job to do. Not as bad as I expected. The only sort of fiddly bit was the wiring. But nothing a few cable ties can't sort out, and a pair of cutters and a bit of perseverance. I will get this road tested now, and then we'll find out if it's all been worth it. Right, road test over. It is like driving a totally different car. No plastic moving noises, no rattles, no vibrations. 7 hours of work, a lot of cursing and swearing, but worth it. Would I attempt the same thing on the R50? If I ever get another dash rattle on it, absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to comment on the video and share it if you enjoyed it. Drop a like on it if it helps. And I'll see you all in the next one.